Greetings everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about something that is just a big topic to take on, and that is self-healing, healing whatever circumstances you're in, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and becoming your greatest self. So this is just going to be the tip of the iceberg. This video is intended for someone who is looking for a little bit of a direction, right, to healing. So you might be panic searching, how do I heal from cancer? Or how do I heal my knee injury naturally? Or how do I get over my ex-partner? Or how do I gain the confidence to go out and to ask someone on a date, or to approach a woman, or to approach a man? I can literally put the process into a simple formula. Pretty much just takes a good hard look at our mind, body, and spirit, which is actually all one, and they're all interconnected, all equally as important. And when we work on our mind, body, and spirit, we enhance each of the other in the trinity. We just become so much better. So healing in any one aspect will help you grow in all other aspects, and you will become your greatest self each and every day. We will grow more and more into our greatest selves. But sometimes when we have an injury, we have a disease, we have heartbreak, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical trials and tribulations, we get a little stuck, stagnation occurs, and we just have to find a way out of it. So this is for everybody who is going through something and you're just trying to figure out where to start. You're looking for a little bit of motivation and inspiration, and that's why I'm here, guys. So I'm really excited to share some of this really beautiful information with you guys. So I just wanted to talk about this very famous quote that the wound is the place where the light enters you. This is a Rumi quote, and it's very powerful because when we're injured, hurt, going through any kind of obstacle or hardship in life, it is actually a great opportunity to grow and to learn. So it's actually something to kind of be excited about, even though sometimes it's very hard to be in these emotions and this pain. You know, losing loved ones, injuring your body, and having restricted movement when you're someone who loves to move, hurting your throat, or losing your voice when you're a singer. All of these things can bring us down, but it's a way for us to actually learn and to grow. And there's so many natural ways to deal with any obstacle that life throws our way, from, you know, anything from simple minor things to extreme things like cancer and severe disease. We can remedy anything, and the power is out there. So it's up to you ultimately to learn. Like, you found this video, this is the most amazing first step you could have made, because if your mind isn't open up to these other perspectives and things, I'm about to help you open your mind and your perspective to something greater and to something new. Since I am plugged into a very beautiful, conscious, mindful, spiritual community here in Sedona, Arizona, to me this is very like common sense. But there's so many people out there in the world, in small towns all over the world, big cities, whatever, where society is kind of suppressed, and there's just a lot of flaws in the matrix, if you will. And so I'm here just to give a little bit of guidance. So I like to talk about things as in the trinity, the mind, body, spirit. And so that is mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. So the emotional is, you know, a fourth aspect as well. But they're all so connected. So if there's any problem you are having with your body, whether it's a skin disease, a bone damage, a joint pain, sprains, breaks, diseases with your organs, cancers. All of these things actually oftentimes stem from something mental, emotional, or spiritual. And then also, sometimes you just have physical injuries. Say you're just walking down the road and you trip. But maybe you only trip because you're in a really crappy mood and you weren't fully present with the steps you were taking, or you weren't taking your time and you were rushing. Your mind was occupied. It was somewhere else. You weren't present. Or, sometimes you're just hiking, you're running, and you trip and fall. There's so many different circumstances, right? But pretty much what I'm saying is a lot of diseases like cancer and autoimmune diseases and things like these are actually caused by our mental and spiritual emotional states. So they manifest first in the mind and whatever, and then they actually manifest as physical symptoms. So the way to heal stuff like that isn't even a physical thing, which it can be it is physical because you can take in everything that you consume to bring yourself into a higher vibration using herbs, herbal medicine, healthy foods, whole foods, really good supplements, things for the joints. All of these things can empower our bodies, which will therefore improve our mental state and our spiritual state. So when we are healing from anything, maybe it's emotional, right? In this case, you just went through a breakup. So if you just went through a breakup, you're feeling sadness, grief, upset. And a way to counteract this and move out of, it's so important to sit with these emotions and to process them and not numb them out by eating a bunch of junk food and, drinking a bunch of alcohol and smoking weed and whatever you can do to numb it out, but rather, take calming medicinal herbs like ashwagandha, reishi, lion's mane. There's so many of these. This could be a whole nother video. Instead of resorting to bad habits and comforts that we've fallen into to heal ourselves, we need to actually make smart decisions. So research what herbs are good for whatever you're going through. There's literally herbs out there for everything. And while herbal medicine might not be as potent as what, a doctor could prescribe you, it's also way more natural, gentle. You'd be really surprised at how effective natural medicine can be. And it's a beautiful thing because they're not as addictive, right? Sometimes we get prescribed things by these doctors and then you're addicted to them, and then you have to do all the work to wean off of that, and that's a whole nother journey in itself. So some of the most important things to ask yourself and to really think about is, what are you consuming? Because what we consume obviously has a huge impact on the way we are as humans and the way we show up and the way we feel. So anything that you're consuming physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, things you're watching, social media, anything you're seeing on the internet, porn, horror films, the news, all of these crazy things that are all around us that sometimes, we fall into, you got to really look at that and cut out things that are harming your psyche. If you are scrolling on social media all day and you're not actually getting the shit done that you really want to, that is in the back of your mind, and you're not taking action, you need to cut that out. And instead, if you want to consume some kind of material, let it be something that is pointing you to the right direction. Something like this video, or self-improvement, reading a book, something that's going to motivate you and inspire you to actually tackle what you really want to tackle in life. your purpose. If we're not in our purpose, having purposeful, meaningful connections and actions in our lives, then you're missing out on so much and you're gonna feel depleted. The second most important thing to consider is your surroundings. So our setting, what does our space look like? Who is around us? Where do we live? We actually have power over all of these things. If you want to change any of these things, you can change it. If you're telling yourself you can't, you have surrendered. And I think there's a time and place that everyone has to surrender to some degree, because the reality is we don't have full control of all of the happenings in our lives. Sometimes we're gonna be stuck in a kind of a shitty situation, maybe for another month or two, but you can get outside, you can separate yourself from wherever you're at, you can go to nature, you can go to the library. There's so many places you could go to for free to clear your mind and to just reset and really analyze what is it that you need, what kind of space is it that you need. Write it down, journal. And the third thing, guys, is time management. What we're doing with our time, which I actually kind of got into. What we do with our time is everything. It is what we're consuming and what we're not consuming. We're always either like kind of consuming, stagnant, or moving, or producing. And the key is to rest and to be stagnant when you actually need to. So like rest is important. So it's not like we need to like be robots and be going all day. It's important to have time to meditate, to get the amount of rest that we need so that we can be productive and put out the energy to create things that we really want to create in our lives. I think people sometimes confuse resting as like watching a movie or playing a video game. And while like sometimes these things can be restful, it really depends on the content of what you're doing. If you're playing like a shooting game or some strategy game that requires tons of attention and focus, or you're watching like a horror film and it's actually exciting your nervous system and you're on edge and burning your adrenals, you're actually not resting, even though you're there sitting on the couch. Using your resting time productively is really important. So meditating, going out into nature, jumping into cold water, reading a really nice book that you're into, and then taking a little nap. These are all very productive things to do so that we can empower ourselves, restore, so that we have the energy to go forth and to do whatever it is we're trying to do. When you're healing from an injury or from anything, you need to give yourself time to rest. And sometimes that means just meditating and sitting with the emotions that come up, tapping into compassion and forgiveness, because we all have trauma of some sort. Everyone has varying degrees of trauma. So we're all doing our own little processing in our own ways, and some people have kind of buried these things and not actually fully dealt with them. So if we're depressed or moody all the time, we need to look at what is it in life that made us that way. And maybe it goes back to childhood things. Maybe we're taken advantage of and abused, not shown love and compassion. We need to look back at these times and send our inner child that love that we needed and nourish them, and know that we can heal and get through whatever we're going through. We don't have to let our past dictate our future any longer. With forgiveness, by forgiving, whether it's your mom, your parents, your grandparents, an uncle, whoever it is, your childhood friend that hurt you, sending that forgiveness is hard sometimes for some people when there's a lot of emotional charge and hatred. But the true path to healing is through love and kindness, forgiveness and compassion. And by tapping into these virtues, you are going to raise your vibration. Things that were strapping you down and getting you locked up in your trauma you're going to now feel free to be who you're meant to be. You're going to have the space to love what you're doing and not be distracted by, whatever it is that's bothering you. There are so many ways to heal ourselves and to improve ourselves, and it's very subjective. It's very important for us to not judge ourselves or others for the way that we're processing through things. And it's just very important to, if you do have some kind of advice to share with someone, do it in a gentle way, the way that you would like to receive this. And, sometimes there is power in being hard on ourselves or being very strict and firm. But when we're going through a very vulnerable, sensitive time, we need to be patient and nurturing. And then once we're like kind of healing and going through that stuff, it's like, all right, let's go. Let's get this shit done. Let's take action. And that's when we can really harness more of that masculine quality of really tackling our purpose and using our time as most efficiently as possible. But it's a process. So be patient with yourself as you are healing and going through your journey of becoming your greatest self, refining your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional states. It takes time and presence. And there's so many different practices that we can do to help us on this journey. I just want to mention a few little things about practices that you can do. So first of all, like in your morning routine is so important. There's so many different strategies you can look up for what is a good morning routine. Sometimes that's journaling and asking yourself, what is your intention for the day? Or what do I really want to get done today? What do I need to put in my body to get me going? Is it just some nice warm water and a walk outside? Going for a run, getting some cardio in? So starting the day off right with some kind of thing that is going to lift us up and get us moving, get some juices flowing, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, that is just the best way to start. So for everyone, it's different. There is no one thing that is going to get you there. It is up to you to pick out what resonates and to roll with that. There's so many practices like yoga, qigong, meditation, calisthenics, weight training, sports, writing, music, creating content, serving tea, cooking food for people. There's so many things that we can do. Just some advice for some of the younger folks out there who are wondering, like, how do I find my path? How do I heal my procrastination issues? And how do I step into my greatest self and find purpose? Well, you need to ask yourself, are you where you want to be? Do you want to be in university? Or do you want to be working kind of like a normal job at home and working on your business on the side? There's so many different paths in life. You can learn a trade. You can learn massage therapy like I did. You could become a yoga teacher. You don't have to follow the strict matrix that our society has created. You don't have to go to university and become a lawyer if that doesn't resonate. You can follow your heart. As long as you remain disciplined and you're taking good care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you will be successful in the long run. You just have to stay consistent and never give up. So the last thing that I want to talk about is beliefs, and this kind of goes along with mental and spiritual things. So beliefs kind of start in the mind, and the more we kind of entertain them and resonate with them, then they actually become like our spiritual beliefs, and these are like our foundational beliefs. It's very important that we let go of beliefs that don't serve us. You got to ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? Why do you do what you do? Is it because your parents told you to do that? Or is it because that's actually what feels right to your heart and to your soul? Yeah, it's just very important to take a good hard look at where our beliefs are coming from and what are the beliefs that we need to take on and to fully like embody so that we can bring our purpose out and we can bring our greatest selves out. We can show up and go to the gym and get fit. And then we can go and tackle whatever we want to do in creating our business or showing up for our job or showing up for our partner in life, our friends and family. It's important to nourish every aspect, mind, body, and spirit, so that we can be our greatest selves. If we're lacking in any one of these things, you could be a guru and, making tons of money or something. But if you never do any yoga and you don't get movement, you don't go out and you don't actually go out into nature and you don't walk around, you're gonna get depressed and your spiritual teachings are gonna fade and people are gonna see that you've lost your zest for life. If you're a bodybuilder and you all of a sudden lose that spiritual spark that gets you to show up every day to hit the gym and pump iron, you're gonna lose your gains. If you're just like a super pleasant, happy person, but you're eating all sorts of junk food and you're not training and you don't have any sort of spiritual practice or something to ground yourself, you're going to become jaded and you're actually going to become really burnt out and sad, and that you're like, wow, I was this once really happy go lucky person and now I'm like this. Why is this? Mind, body, spirit, we need to connect them, link them all, nourish them all. Do the research for what you need. Look up what herbal medicine helps your issue. Look up what practices help the spirit and the mind and the body. And you're on your way to greatness. It's that simple. So I hope this gives you a beautiful reference point for getting started along your healing journey and along your journey to really harnessing your fullest potential and bringing that to the world. Something I really love to do is drink tea. So I know I haven't really talked about too many of the methods out there. This is just an intro. And I can delve into all the different aspects and different practices and foods and herbs and all of these things that you could be doing maybe in future videos. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do ask me. Right now I'm drinking some tea. I got my little setup here. And it's one of the most special things that I do in my life is to sit with herbal medicine, teas, and to just enjoy it, to go out into nature and to relax. And then when I'm ready to work out and train or to create content, work on poetry, then I am in the perfect space to do that. I have my setting, my surrounding right here. I have my Zen space. I have beautiful brothers that I live with that lift me up every day. I surround myself with the right people and I consume the best foods I can. I'm not perfect, by any means, and I am not a professional or a psychologist or anything like this, but I do have a lot of life experience. I'm a yogi. I've done some esoteric practices, you could say, and I am just a seeker of spirit and love. So I really want to share more content with you guys, and I'm really excited to do that. So if anything that I mentioned or covered in this video really helped or resonates with you, please do give me a like, comment, subscribe, and connect with me. Shoot me an email. And I really want to connect with people. So yeah, I'm excited to share more. I really want to share some of my poetry in the future, share some things about tea, and to just share my path with you guys so we can continue growing together. Much love, peace, blessings. Namaste.